Okay, here's a tale no adult child should ever have to tell. If karma were a person, she'd be cackling right now because my family just got caught mid-sip of their overpriced mojitos. And guess who's behind the curtain pulling the levers? That's right, me. Aaron, 29, black, cybersecurity guy with a low tolerance for nonsense and a high-yield savings account they thought was their personal piggy bank. Let me give you the rundown. And no, this isn't a Netflix pitch, though it absolutely could be. So, growing up in a Southern household where emotions were either ignored or turned into military commands, I learned early that love came dressed in lectures and high expectations. My dad, Gregory, ex-Navy, all structure and starched collars, ran the house like a floating base. My mom, Deborah, a former homemaker turned travel blogger. Yeah, she's that mom now, had big Pinterest energy and a bigger blind spot for my sister Skylar, who at 25 is a TikTok fashionista with more LED lights than ambition. I've always been the quiet one, the "you're fine, Aaron kid." Fine turned into focused, focused turned into successful, and now I've got a solid tech career, a crisp credit score, and a plan. Buy my first house this year. Or so I thought. A few years ago, the family had this bright idea to start a joint family trust. It was supposed to be for major emergencies, joint investments, better interest rates. You know, classic boomer Excel sheet logic. I was hesitant, but they guilt-tripped me into it. I agreed only on the condition that my portion, basically my house fund, couldn't be touched without my written consent. This wasn't a handshake deal. This was lawyered, notarized, and signed. I made it crystal clear, not your money, don't touch. Now, Skylar recently decided her next career leap involved launching a wellness brand that basically sells pastel hoodies and half-baked affirmations. She asked me for seed money. I declined politely. Apparently, no triggered a full family cold shoulder. Skylar unfollowed me. My parents stopped calling. All good, I thought. We just needed space. What I didn't expect was to wake up last week to a $38,000 withdrawal from the trust. Yep, my house fund gone. Memo: Mediterranean cruise dream package. My heart tap danced its way into my throat. I checked the cruise company, cross-referenced the dates, and sure enough, there's a 21-day voyage of sun, selfies, and scandal starring my parents and Skylar. How did I confirm? Skylar's Instagram, obviously. Girl posted everything from champagne brunches to her dad's morning, stretches on the balcony like it was sponsored content. Spoiler, I wasn't in any of those photos. Not even a wish you were here mention. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't an oversight, it was deliberate. They used my money, went on a family trip, and excluded me like I was a tax audit. So I call my dad calmly. I ask about the money. He says it was a family decision, and then drops the atomic insult. Why would we include the outsider? Outsider. I've been called a lot in my life. Quiet, nerdy, detached, but an outsider. From the man who raised me, that one landed. I hung up without another word. I didn't yell, didn't scream. I sat in my tiny apartment, stared at my bland beige walls, and let that word wrap around my brain like barbed wire. Then came the kicker. A voicemail from mom, casual as a grocery list, asking if I could wire a few extra thousand to upgrade their suite. Apparently, they'd maxed the card trying to live like Instagram royalty. It would have been laughable if it wasn't so insulting. First, they robbed me. Then they asked for a tip. I didn't respond. Instead, I called my ex, Raya. She's a forensic tech genius, sharp, cold, and ironically the only one who hasn't treated me like a backup plan. We hadn't talked in a bit, but I knew she'd understand. I also hit up Luis, my coworker, Puerto Rican, slick with code, and loyal like a pit bull in a hoodie. I explained the situation, and both of them were instantly in. Raya started digging into the transaction trail. Turns out there may have been a forged e-signature attached to the withdrawal. Luis started pulling old trust documents from his backup archives. We'd reviewed them together when I first joined the trust, so he knew the setup. What did we find? Clear violations. Explicit terms broken. This wasn't just betrayal. It was fraud. Actual criminal fraud. Right now, they're somewhere off the coast of Spain, maybe arguing with customer service over cabin views. Meanwhile, I've frozen the trust, notified the bank, and started a fraud report with my lawyer. Raya's compiling digital proof. Luis is prepping statements. We're not just going for reimbursement. We're going for scorched earth. Oh, and the best part. They've officially been locked out of the trust. No more money, no more upgrades, no more anything. They're stranded, out of funds, with luxury tastes and no way home unless they start uploading travel vlogs for cash. And yeah, I could feel bad. I could reach out, send a wire transfer, be the bigger person. But here's the thing, Reddit. When someone tells you you're an outsider, believe them. That word gave me clarity. I've spent my life trying to be the good son, the reliable one, the guy who picks up the pieces. Not anymore. My new vibe, peaceful pettiness. I'm sipping iced coffee, working remotely, and reading cruise reviews online just to see how bad their room is. Karma isn't always instant, but it sure is efficient when it finally lands. So, am I the bad guy for letting them suffer the consequences for choosing my sanity and self-respect over a forced definition of family? Or am I finally just playing the game by their rules? Either way, one thing's clear. The outsider just became the storm. Comments. I get being mad, but dragging in lawyers and investigations before even giving them one last proper chance to explain feels a bit nuclear, man. Yeah, what they did was wrong, really wrong, but it's still your parents and sister. Maybe there was some twisted logic in their heads, like we'll pay him back later. A serious conversation could have gone a long way first. Now it's like you've officially declared family war, and that's hard to undo. Update 1. All right, so imagine getting robbed, but the robbers are your own family, and instead of ski masks, they're wearing resort wear and sipping frozen margaritas on a cruise ship you unknowingly paid for. Yeah, welcome to my life this week. I didn't expect the internet to ride with me this hard when I posted, but y'all went full Sherlock, judge, and therapist all at once. I read every comment. Some made me laugh, some made me cry, and a few made me question if my dad was actually swapped at birth with a cartoon villain. So, here's where we're at now. I went full digital detective with some serious backup, and things escalated fast. I was waiting for them to reach out, but they haven't yet. I'm guessing the onboard decline incident was a moment. I keep picturing my dad trying to swipe for a round of drinks only to get that dreaded denied. Beep. Mom probably panicked about not getting her seaweed wrap. And Skylar, she's probably more upset about losing Wi-Fi and her cruise ambassador deal. As satisfying as all this is, and yeah, I definitely fist pumped a little when I got the update, there's still that weird pit in my stomach. These are my parents, my sister. I didn't want a courtroom drama. I just wanted them not to steal from me. But now we're past the point of awkward family dinners. This is official, legal, and likely permanent. The funniest part, not one of them thought I'd notice. Like I wouldn't notice $38,000 missing. As if I'm just out here throwing cash into the ocean like I'm Elon Musk's bored cousin. I've been budgeting, meal prepping, taking the bus instead of Uber, just to save for a future. One I thought maybe I could share with someone real someday. And meanwhile, they're treating my trust like a tip jar at a tiki bar. What stings most is the outsider comment my dad made before all this. Like I was never really theirs because I didn't follow the blueprint they laid out for their perfect family. I didn't go into the family business. I didn't fall in line. And maybe I didn't go along with their cruise dreams either, but I never thought they'd punish me for it like this. Now I'm waiting. Waiting for a text, an email, a fake apology, or an angry rant. I don't know which is worse. Maybe Skylar will play dumb, maybe mom will guilt trip, or maybe dad will go full dramatic monologue about how I misunderstood the intention. But I didn't misunderstand anything. I read the fine print and I trusted them. That's the thing, right? Trust isn't just about money. It's about knowing your people won't gut you the second your back is turned. And while I'm glad I caught it early and the system worked in my favor, it still kind of sucks. Knowing the people you grew up loving don't see you as a person, just a bank account with legs. So now I'm sitting here, ramen in hand, wondering what the next move is. I might not have family after this, but at least I've got boundaries and a whole bunch of receipts. Thanks for riding this chaos wave with me, Reddit. Y'all are a better family than the ones who raised me. Update 2. So here's a funny thing about Karma. Sometimes she shows up in heels, sipping a cocktail on a yacht you paid for with your stolen savings. And sometimes she drags glittery influencers and pillar of the community parents straight into the spotlight they never wanted. It's been a few more days, and, man, Things have taken a turn that even I couldn't script. And I say this as someone who's been refreshing my fraud case updates like it's a new season drop on HBO. So first, let's talk about my sister Skylar, because she's unknowingly become the MVP of this whole circus. She's been on that cruise vlogging her every move like she's auditioning for a Bravo show. Beach pics, poolside drink boomerangs, oversharing captions like manifesting peace, self-care. And bless her, she tagged the cruise line in literally every post. I'm talking ports, cocktails, even the towel swan on her bed. I know more about her vacation than I ever cared to, but here's where it gets fun. In one of her stories, she casually tagged the ship's name. Out of curiosity, I Googled the cruise line only to realize it's owned by a luxury travel company I once did some cybersecurity consulting for. I'd helped them clean up a really nasty data breach situation a few years back, and let's just say we parted on very good terms. It was like the stars aligned, but in a legal thriller kind of way. I reached out to one of my contacts at their corporate office. Let's call him Mr. Henderson. Told him I had reason to believe a booking had been made with stolen funds, and I had documentation to prove it. At first, I kept things vague. Didn't want to drop the family bomb just yet. But once I handed over the receipts, literal and metaphorical, Mr. Henderson did his own digging. He called me back a few hours later, and boy, his tone had gone from, "How can we help?" to, "Oh, no way." Turns out, the cruise line doesn't play when it comes to fraud. Not just because it's money, but because stuff like this makes them liable and screws up their compliance reports. Mr. Henderson basically confirmed that the fraud was legit, the bookings were linked to my parents and sister, and that the cruise line would be taking appropriate action. I didn't ask what that meant. I kind of wanted to be surprised. Meanwhile, I went ahead and filed a report with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3. It felt intense, not going to lie, like typing my family's full names into an official federal report should feel weirder than it did. But at this point, they'd already drawn their line in the sand when they forged my signature, moved $38,000 without permission, and called me an outsider for daring to question them. So yeah, we're past awkward Thanksgiving territory and well into see you in court zone. And still radio silence from the family. You'd think someone would reach out, an apology, a badly typed defense, even a meme. But no, just one lone message from Skylar, confused because her onboard card got declined while she was trying to buy Gucci perfume. She actually asked if Mercury was in retrograde. It was such a Skylar thing to say, I almost laughed. I didn't reply. The best part, the cruise line systems are now fully aware that the booking was fraudulent, and they're working with the bank to reverse the funds. So, while I should be getting my money back soon, my family will be left holding the bill. And from what I know of them, that's going to sting more than any punishment I could have personally delivered. Nothing says reality check like being confronted mid-massage about a fraud investigation and then being told your luxury purchases are frozen. And now I wait for the bank to finalize the reversal, for the cruise line to decide what to do with the guests in Suite 702. For the moment, my parents might finally call me. Not to apologize, I'm not delusional, but probably to yell, guilt trip, or pull the classic, I'm disappointed in you routine. I'm ready for it. Every now and then I scroll back up and reread my dad's, "You're just an outsider" message. He meant it to hurt. And yeah, it did for a minute. But now it just reminds me how far removed I am from the toxic circus they call family. I might be the outsider, but at least I'm not the one under a federal investigation while trying to sip Prosecco in the Aegean. I'm not pretending this is easy. It's not fun watching your family implode, even if they were the architects of their own collapse. But at some point, I had to stop being the peacemaker, the fixer, the one who swallowed everything with a smile. This wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate theft. They banked on me not fighting back, on staying quiet, on being family. Well, outsiders play by different rules. And if you're wondering if I've heard anything new today, actually, yes. A little birdie in the cruise line's customer service loop let slip via a friend of a friend, nothing official, of course, that there was a security discussion happening around certain guests being disembarked early at the next port for a violation of booking terms. I can't confirm anything yet, but I've got popcorn on standby. Thanks for all your support, Reddit. You made me feel like I wasn't crazy for pushing back. This isn't over yet, but I'm no longer the one being dragged along. I'm at the wheel now. And if they thought the storm was behind them, well, maybe they should have checked the forecast. Update 3. Hey folks, I am sitting in my living room right now, drinking gas station coffee out of a chipped mug that says World's Okayest Son, watching the slow-motion train wreck of my family's vacation from hell unfold in real time. And folks, it's glorious. Remember how in my last update I talked about freezing their onboard spending and giving the cruise line a heads up about the fraud? Well, things escalated hard. We're not talking awkward phone call escalated. We're talking escorted off a ship in Greece under the watchful eye of local law enforcement escalated. Here's what happened. Early this morning, I got a call from a restricted number. Normally, that's a hard pass, but curiosity got me. It was Mr. Henderson, my guy at the cruise company, remember? And his voice had the tone of someone who's just watched a soap opera plot unfold in real life. Turns out the cruise line moved faster than I expected. With the receipts I gave them and their own internal digging, they confirmed the payment used to book my family's fancy vacation came from an account flagged for fraud. Mine. So yeah, they didn't take kindly to hosting 3 people who used someone else's money for a week-long floating buffet of champagne and clout chasing. So what did they do? They booted them. Yep, disembarked them mid-cruise in Piraeus, Greece. No ceremony, no subtlety. Apparently, ship security approached them during brunch, likely mid-mimosa, possibly mid-Skylar selfie, and informed them their trip was over, effective immediately. And if that wasn't dramatic enough, Greek authorities were waiting at the port. It's one thing to be told to leave. It's another to be told to turn into the arms of the police. It's not a vacation memory you scrapbook. That's the stuff that makes people delete their Instagram accounts. Cue my phone absolutely exploding. Calls from both parents. Multiple from Skylar, each more unhinged than the last. Texts range from panic to furious. Skylar's reads like a middle school meltdown typed with acrylics. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I counted over 40 messages in an hour. Most sounded like they were composed while pacing in a panic spiral. Then came the cherry on top. A text from an international number I didn't recognize. Something about consular outreach and detained individuals requesting assistance. So now we're in technically international incident territory. Not what I expected when this whole thing started, but here we are. To be clear, I did file an FBI complaint. And yeah, maybe I thought I'd spook them, get the cruise company to reverse the charges, give me my money back, and call it a day. But what actually happened? My family got marched off a luxury ship in front of an audience of other passengers, some of whom I'd bet money were filming and are now stuck in a country they can't leave without clearing fraud charges. Do I feel bad? I mean, no, not really. I did for like 5 minutes. Then I remembered being called an outsider after they drained my account without a second thought. I remembered my mom acting like I was the selfish one for not wanting to pay for their once-in-a-lifetime trip. And I remembered Skylar tagging every overpriced meal and designer swimsuit like she hadn't committed literal wire fraud to get there. I tried to be chill. I tried to talk. I tried to protect myself without blowing things up. But when someone hands you a match and dares you to strike it, eventually you stop worrying about the curtains. Now here they are, stranded in Greece. No cruise, no luggage, probably no internet clout, just a whole lot of explaining to do in a language they don't speak to people who take fraud very, very seriously. I don't know what kind of holding room they're sitting in right now, but I'm guessing it doesn't come with a pillow menu. And guess what? Still no apology. Not even a half-hearted sorry you had to do this text. Just entitlement, denial, and desperation in all caps. It's wild. My mom went from "we're family, we deserve this," to "fix this now" in under 6 messages. My dad tried the whole guilt trip route like I'm the one who committed a crime. I haven't replied to any of them. I thought about it for a second. I wanted to send back a single word, outsider, but that's petty even for me. So I've gone full radio silence. Let them stew. Let them figure it out. The internet is weirdly quiet about it so far. Skylar hasn't posted since the disembarkment. I guess it's hard to find the right filter for evicted from cruise ship under suspicion of fraud. Can't imagine that plays well with travel goals. And honestly, I know this sounds messed up, but watching their world fall apart feels like a kind of justice I didn't think I'd ever get. They lived off me, lied to me, laughed behind my back, and now they're getting a taste of what consequences feel like when they don't get to control the narrative. The best part, the cruise line is pursuing the matter independently, and the bank's fraud team is in motion. That money's coming back to me eventually. Probably not without a mess, but still. Where this ends, I have no clue. I don't know if they'll be charged. I don't know if they'll be deported or fined, or just left to figure out their own flights home with their own cash for once. But I do know this. I'm not picking up that phone. I'm not sending money. I'm not flying out to bail anyone out. I was the outsider. And now I'm finally outside of their mess. Reddit, thanks for sticking with me through this ridiculous saga. I didn't plan for this to turn into a Mediterranean drama, but I guess karma booked a round-trip ticket. Let me know what you'd do. Would you send a final message? Would you keep watching the show from the sidelines? Because honestly, I've got popcorn, and I don't mind letting it burn a little longer. Final update, you know what's funny? A few weeks ago, my biggest concern was choosing between oat milk and almond milk for my morning coffee. Now I'm dodging my parents' legal mess like I'm in an Olympic hurdle event, and I didn't even sign up for the team. So yeah, life got weird after they hijacked my contribution in the trust fund for a luxury cruise they never invited me on. I did what any rational adult would do, gathered receipts, filed a fraud claim, and watched the universe boomerang karma right into their sunbathing, mimosa-sipping faces. And let me tell you, that karma wore aviators and carried handcuffs. Post-Piraeus pull-off, my new favorite term. Things moved fast, faster than Skylar could refresh her Instagram to see her follower count drop. The investigation didn't just stay local. International fraud gets you VIP treatment from some very stern-looking people in crisp uniforms. My bank flagged everything, and hallelujah, my $38,000 is making its way back to my account as we speak. The cruise line wasted zero time, lifetime ban, immediate cooperation with authorities. It's almost like corporations really hate bad PR, involving stolen money and luxury perks. Who knew? Meanwhile, I've been living in a serene bubble of complete and glorious silence. No calls, no texts, at least not answered. My family, now back on U.S. soil with a collection of legal nightmares and sunburns, found out the hard way that I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't going to magically forgive, forget, or fund their next stunt. The radio silence apparently triggered the maybe we should act like we're sorry phase. But nope, I didn't flinch. I did, however, hire a financial consultant. We're untangling me from the black hole that is the family trust. I'm rerouting every dime I can away from them, like it's the last helicopter out of a disaster zone. This trust was supposed to unite the family. Turns out it was just a piggy bank with my name taped over it. Not anymore. The highlight reel keeps playing. 2 weeks after the cruise implosion, guess who shows up at my apartment? Yep, Gregory, my dad. No warning, no call, just there. I didn't even see his face. Security buzzed me. I said, nope. And next thing he knew, he was escorted off the premises. Then came the restraining order. Clean, legal, final. That whole outsider insult, turns out, can afford attorneys and boundaries. Somewhere in between consulting lawyers and finally sleeping like a baby at night, I decided to post the story anonymously. I wanted it to be a PSA more than a takedown, just a quiet little tale about how trusting your family blindly with your money can end with you being robbed blind. It blew up, big time. Not Good Morning America big, but definitely viral cautionary tale big. And the fallout, oh boy. Skylar's influencer career tanked. Brand deals vanished. Her comment section became a Greek chorus of judgment. People brought receipts. The internet never forgets. She tried scrubbing everything clean. Too late. That blue checkmark won't save you when your family's trending for fraud. Deborah, my mother and self-proclaimed ethical travel blogger, got roasted alive. Her posts about responsible tourism now look like satire. People are dragging her in every language. One-star reviews, quote tweet takedowns, the works. Turns out no one wants vacation advice from someone who paid for their trip with stolen money. Gregory didn't fare much better. Word got out in his little veterans club about the overseas arrest. Membership revoked. Honorary roll gone. Apparently, patriotic values and financial crime don't mix. Meanwhile, I'm writing this from the couch of my new house. My house, paid in full. Quiet neighborhood, sunny kitchen. No echoes of entitlement bouncing off the walls. It's not flashy, but it's mine and untouchable. No one can steal it, manipulate it, or show up demanding to crash in the guest room. There is no guest room, just peace. It's kind of poetic, in a way. They called me the outsider, and maybe they were right. I never quite fit their mold. I didn't play the part, didn't suck up, didn't fake interest in their performative charity events and hollow brunch talk. I worked, I saved, I minded my business, and in return, they robbed me. They thought I'd panic or cave or play the good son one more time. Instead, I burned the bridge, made them pay for lighting the match, and walked away holding the insurance check. Was it petty? A little. Was it satisfying? Beyond words. Look, I didn't start this war. I just decided not to lose it. When they stole from me, they made it personal. When they disrespected me, they made it permanent. All I did was give them the opportunity to trip over their own choices, and I stood clear so I wouldn't get hit by the fallout. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. To anyone out there dealing with toxic family drama, especially the kind that wraps itself in guilt and fake smiles, but we're family manipulation, let me be your sign. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because you share DNA. Love without respect is just control in a prettier outfit. They made me the outsider. But that outsider just started over. Clean slate, full wallet, clear conscience. And if that makes me the villain in their story, well, at least I'm not the one who needed a refund on a cruise I never paid for. Stay safe, Reddit. Trust wisely, and maybe keep your financial passwords to yourself. Comments. Commenter. Dude, you handled that like a total boss. Most people would have folded or gotten guilt-tripped into saving their family again. But you stood your ground. The fact that you set legal boundaries and got your money back while staying classy is honestly inspiring. Watching your shady family crash and burn from a distance must feel like the sweetest kind of peace. Mad respect for taking your power back. Hope your new home brings you nothing but good vibes and quiet.